तेरे काम से देश का नाम नाम मेरे लब पर बस इमरान खान ईद बड़ी इमरान खान।
टेल्स टीवी पर आपको खुशामदीद कहता हूँ। इस डॉक्यूमेंट्री को देखने से पहले टेल्स टीवी को सब्सक्राइब करें, लाइक करें और शेयर करें। इस डॉक्यूमेंट्री का उर्दू तर्जमा भी इस वीडियो के अंदर शामिल कर दिया गया है। और प्लीज़ इस डॉक्यूमेंट्री के एंड पे मेरा एनालिसिस, मेरे व्यूज़ लाजमी सुनिएगा, जो कि हकाइक पर मबनी है एंड देयर इज अ सॉल्यूशन इन दैट analysis. Thank you so much.
An abstraction, or so it would have seemed.
For 10 years, people have been asking me in Pakistan to get married, and such an obsession with it. So, yes, I said, look, after the hospital is completed, I will get married. Obviously, I would like to marry a Muslim. And what nationality, race, color, for me doesn't matter, because in Islam, there is no such thing as race or nationalism or, these are just imposed by culture on us, but Islam gives us freedom. I mean, I could, as a Muslim, marry a Christian or a Jew either, but I would much rather marry someone of my faith, only because I think you have a much greater chance of making it a success if two people's values, ideas, ideology are the same, and you're going in the same direction in life, and you're growing at the same pace.
Then Imran astounded everyone by marrying Jemima, the daughter of billionaire James Goldsmith. Press reaction in Britain was frenzied. Had the born-again Muslim abandoned his principles?
It would have been much easier for me to marry a Pakistani girl. But life doesn't go as we plan. The plan that prevails is of the Almighty. And so here I am, marrying a girl who is from a completely different background, but shares my vision. Much more, she shares my vision, my aspirations, my values. So bad that it's going to bring a reaction in this country. People themselves must want to change. They've been too complacent and too long. They've accepted every sort of injustice imposed upon them by unrepresentative governments. They've accepted everything lying down. And I think the people must want to change in this country, and that is the only hope. And if the people want change and the governments that come in represent the people, I think then this country will become very dynamic. Because 120 million people is a huge population. And if someone can mobilize these people in a positive way, we have everything here. It's just that it's so badly managed at the moment. The Muslim stereotype in the minds of the Western people, like women are slaves in Islam, and the concept of terrorism, that Muslims were terrorists and they were ignorant and backward, and to be progressive the Muslim had to be Western. And so I found that unless and until I knew enough about Islam, I could not answer my critics or critics of Islam. So then started the study of Islam, which hasn't stopped, and which probably was the greatest enlightenment for me. My interest in Islam was very gradual. You can't say it was suddenly something happened and I snapped. It was a gradual change which was over a period of time, and series of factors helped in that change. At the same time made me aware more and more of my culture. My awareness of Islam was always there because my mother was very strongly Islamic. My father was a believing Muslim, practicing Muslim. So it wasn't as if at home there wasn't that influence. My conditioning by the society, progressive, you had to leave these behind. And so it was just an Islamic identity I had. And I actually never understood the philosophy of Islam. For me, Islam was an identity, and it was something to pay lip service to, but one didn't believe in it. There is a very clear difference between fundamentalism and fanaticism. I feel that I should be proud to be a fundamentalist. After all, the fundamentals of Islam, all they mean is that you, by being accountable to God, you become a better human being. But I assume the way they are portraying me is a fanatic. And I feel that that is a misconception in the West, that anyone who prays is a fanatic. As long as you do not behave like a Muslim, or only Muslim in name, you're a moderate. The moment you sort of pray and fast, you become a fundamentalist. I mean, I assume that's what it means, because no one knows what my views are. Because I believe Allah gives us potential, and then He leaves it to us how much hard work we are prepared to put in to achieve that potential. And I feel that He gave me the potential in cricket, and perhaps if I had gone into other sports, I would still have that potential. But it was up to me to achieve that potential through hard work and dedication.
That's up in the air, he's getting under it, this could be victory, it is! Pakistan win the World Cup, a magnificent performance in front of 87,000.
The hospital was so much on my mind. I mean, it was the only thing that mattered to me at that stage, because I realized that had we not won the World Cup, it would have been impossible to build the hospital. I needed that win, and I was only playing for the hospital. So the release of those emotions was so overwhelming that for once, I just didn't know what to say. And it was just something, muddled opinions that came through.
Pakistan, that ball from down here, hope you're now enjoying the fireworks.
Imran's dedication of Pakistan's cricketing triumph to his hospital appeal was resented by the rest of the team. Some mistakenly believed that their prize money would be diverted to the hospital instead.
The last 2 years of my cricketing career were for the hospital. So I felt that now, our aims were different. The team wanted money and I wanted the hospital. So I moved in a different direction. Initially, the government of Punjab gave us the 20 acres of land, which was very useful. And then when Nawaz Sharif was the Prime Minister, he gave us an initial grant of $250,000. After that, somehow the assistant dwindled, and we actually had problems even in getting administrative things done by various governments. But the current government, the People's Party's government, instead of helping us, it actually put obstacles in the way. And in fact, the last few months have been very tough. And in order to get these funds, we have to get on television. It was basically a commercial to show the hospital, to show the facilities we had brought in, that they were latest, that what it was supposed to do was to treat the poor patients, and what the people had given, where the money went. In Islam, we have a very good concept of zakat. It's a compulsory Islamic tax to give to the poor people 2.5% of your wealth.
Habib Bank, United Bank, Muslim Commercial Bank, National Bank, Allied Bank, First Women Bank, Askari Commercial Bank.
If we don't go on television and show the hospital, there's no way we can collect any money from the public. And of course the government has banned me coming on television or the hospital or anything to do with cancer. Anything we do, even an awareness campaign, has been banned on television.
Praising me for the assistance that we have given the hospital. And not only my government, but even previous governments have donated money and land. So everybody has been very supportive of the hospital because it was meant for the treatment of cancer. And our government is supportive of all such initiatives in the private sector.
I don't know how much Benazir Bhutto knows about this project. I don't know what she's been fed by her sycophants. But there is no doubt that her government is responsible for a lot of damage to her hospital. Ijaz sahab, aapka bahut shukriya.
नूर हम तरक्की को दुनिया के दर की खातिर परवरदिगार दे इंशाल्लाह
ये लो बच्चे ये लो
शाइस्ता सिद्दीकी शाइस्ता
शाबाश शाइस्ता, शाबाश अली, हिम्मत नहीं हारनी है ना, हिम्मत बिल्कुल नहीं हारनी।
शुक्रिया।
नहीं नहीं, शाबाश।
This simple-minded optimism, which fuels Imran's own politics, is challenged by the Women's Action Forum in Lahore.
He's a front man.
Well, I think the fact also that he is riding on the shoulders of the Pasban, which is very clearly identified with the Jamaat-e-Islami, which is the one religious party which I think has damaged the women's cause and the women's movement. And I think for them also this is an opportunity where they are propping up Imran, and he's using that philosophy of being humanitarian, of having opened a hospital, and yet at the same time, because he's a hero, I would agree that it is a very dangerous trend.
A lot of our friends in school, they think he's a very good person, but they don't seem to understand that other statements he's making about women's rights and stuff, and should stay at home, married women stay at home. There's going to be a very big threat if he comes to power.
What is in fact sinister is that he's coming as this type of populist, as opposed to the military, which came with its military garb, with an illegal system, an anti-constitutional system. And he is hoping that, that it will come through a populist way. And I am again agreeing with you that it's actually the forces behind him that is the more dangerous thing.
Now we've got this, facade of a democratic state. He comes in through popularly elected, through the vote and whatever, and it's just very difficult to fight it.
Despite him saying that I have now seen the light, I'm a Sufi, I now don't think of myself only, I think of the public good, I think of everybody. We all remember a few years ago how when he won the World Cup, in fact, he said, I have won it.
Yes.
He
Not
also,
a word about the team.
which was interesting, even while he's saying, I no longer think of myself.
I mean, he's such a dangerous mixture of conceit and arrogance.
He is somebody who can be manipulated precisely because you said that there is something very egotistical about him. And he does believe that he can change, not Pakistan, but the world.
No, he's a very vain man.
Everyone feels that I'm being used by these very powerful right-wing groups. Now, in the beginning I was confused, but then I realized why this is so current in Pakistan. Because you see, when you see all our politicians, they actually never came on their own steam. They always were put there by someone else. English and Urdu should be taught to all students in Pakistan, whether they come from the upper strata of the society or from the masses. Why should the masses be deprived of the English language as a means of education, as a means of acquiring higher education? Because at the moment the masses are deprived of the English language and cannot therefore compete in higher education. And I feel that English should be taught as a language, as a way of learning, as a way of learning knowledge, but people should not try and become English. And why are the rest of the people deprived of that education? Whatever the syllabus is, it should be one syllabus. So everyone should be taught English and Urdu. And at the same time, they should be given proper scientific education because, we have no education in science and technology. And also then we should be taught about Islam. You see, what is happening is that the elite is not taught Islam. The masses are taught Islam, but perhaps not the progressive Islam. And the elite is not taught Islam at all. Outside, I'm a bigger force. By standing for elections and in this system, which is completely corrupt, spending huge amounts of money, and in a system where you cannot do much anyway, why would I want to go into politics? What would it give me?
Back in Islamabad, the Prime Minister seems unconcerned.
Well, it would be rather nice because he'd divide the rightist vote. But I believe he's not planning to do so.
Well, I actually don't understand about right or left-wing politics in Pakistan. I mean, does Benazir seriously believe that she belongs to the left? When she promotes capitalism, she's completely, does whatever Americans ask her to do. How can she call herself left? And the difference, her policies are no different to the previous government. They're exactly the same. So what is this right-left politics? It's just an eyewash. And for me, why would she put me in the right wing because I only believe in one politics, and that's of right and wrong.
इस प्रोग्राम की मेज़बान ने इमरान खान के बारे में सही पेशन गोई की थी कि इमरान की सियासत में ना आने की ख्वाहिश बिल्कुल उसी ख्वाहिश की तरह है जिस तरह उन्होंने एक दफ़ा कहा था कि मैं सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ मुसलमान लड़की से शादी करूँगा। और बाद में उन्होंने जमाइमा से शादी कर ली। फिर उन्होंने ये भी पेशन गोई की थी कि अब जब कभी सियासी बहरान आया तो मिलिट्री और ब्यूरोक्रेसी बैक स्टेज पर रहेंगे, सामने नहीं आएंगे, बल्कि इमरान खान को आगे करेंगे। सुनिए ज़रा पेशन गोई।
Imran may genuinely wish to stay aloof from parliamentary politics, just as he once genuinely wished to marry a Pakistani woman. However, if the country was once again engulfed in a political crisis, the army and civil service may well prefer to stay in the background. But they would need a figurehead, someone with a clean reputation.
और फिर आप सब ने देखा कि 2013 में जब नवाज शरीफ की हुकूमत आई तो कैसे इमरान खान को आगे लाया गया और 2014 में उनसे धरने करवाए गए नवाज शरीफ के खिलाफ। इनका मकसद नवाज शरीफ की हुकूमत को कमज़ोर करना था और नवाज शरीफ को घर भेजना था। इमरान खान अपने इस मकसद में कामयाब हो गए और इस प्रोग्राम की मेज़बान की तरह ये पेशन गोई सच साबित हुई कि इसको मिलिट्री बैक कर रही थी और आज सब मानते हैं कि इसके पीछे पाकिस्तान की फ़ौज थी। और फिर वक्त ने ऐसा धारा बदला कि 2022 में इमरान खान की अपनी हुकूमत भी इन साजिशों के नतीजे में चली गई। मेरा मानना यह है कि इमरान खान से इख्तलाफात अपनी जगह, इमरान खान से सियासी इख्तलाफात अपनी जगह, लेकिन पाकिस्तान तभी तरक्की कर सकता है जब तमाम सियासी जमातें एक एजेंडे पर इकट्ठी हो जाएं। बिलाशुबा 2014 से लेकर 2024 तक बहुत नुकसान पाकिस्तान को पहुंचा और इसका ख़मियाज़ा पाकिस्तानी अवाम ने भुगता, लेकिन अभी भी लेट नहीं हुई। अभी भी वक्त है कि तमाम सियासी जमातें इकट्ठी हो जाएं और पाकिस्तान की तरक्की के लिए सब मिलकर काम करें। मेरा ये मानना है ऐसा होगा, क्योंकि पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त। चैनल को लाइक और सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा। थैंक